All rise. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. This meeting of the Washington County Board of Commissioners is now in session. Pursuant to adjournment. Honorable Chairman Greg Matherly is presiding. An order remain standing.
Thank you, Sheriff. First order of business this evening is our prayer led by Commissioner Malone. Commissioner Malone, would you please include Commissioner Carriger in your prayers? He's fallen and had an accident, had some surgery over the weekend. He does many boards and committees for us. If you'd include him. Also leading our pledge this evening will be Commissioner Jones. Commissioner Malone, you'll listen up, friend.
You'll join me in prayer. Father, we come to you just grateful for the blessings of life, the fact that we live in the greatest country in the world, greatest state, great community. So we pray for Washington County. We pray for its citizens. We pray for its leaders. We pray for those that are here tonight, both those that make decisions and those that are here to watch, to help us to make wise decisions. And we thank Phil Carriger, one of our own, somebody who has certainly been a significant leader in our community. And so we hate to hear that he has had a fall or health issues. So lift him up to you, Lord, and just pray for these things we ask in your name.
Amen. Let us honor America. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, can you pull up the roll call screen, please? You'll go ahead and indicate that you're here this evening. We have 14 present and 1 absent. Next item is approval of the agenda. There's one little minor detail I would like to change on the agenda tonight. Under proclamations, if we could switch up the A and B. We could just have B at the top and A at the bottom. All right, is there any further additions or corrections?
Move to approve that change.
Motion made to approve the agenda with the amendment by Commissioner Jones, seconded by who was my first second? Oh, Commissioner Tucker. I seen you, Commissioner Tucker.
Sorry.
All right. All in favor of that motion of approving the agenda as amended, signify by saying aye. All opposed, like sign. And the agenda is approved. We have no public comment this evening. So we'll be moving directly on into public hearing. I called Mrs. Charles today to help me with the pronunciation on our first public hearing. That will be in the 13th Civil District, A1 General Agricultural District, the A3 General Business District. That's better known as Munchies there in Fall Branch. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of the rezoning? You'll come forward, sir, and give your name and address at the podium to the clerk, please.
Thank you. My name is Lee McVeigh. I'm actually an attorney here for the applicant in this rezoning issue. My office address is 108 East Main Street in Kingsport, Tennessee, 37660. And Commissioners, I'm here primarily because the Planning Commission has denied this request for rezoning. And so I'm here to, I suppose, advocate on behalf of the applicant for the rezoning request. The first thing they wanted me to present, and I'm not sure the best way to do this with 14 commissioners present. After the Planning Commission denied the request, they did set up a petition at the store to gather signatures from local residents in support of this change of zoning from A1 to B3. I'm not sure exactly the best way to pass that around. I just received it this evening, so I don't have copies to give everybody or anything like that. So I would defer to Mr. Madley in terms of how you might be to present this to them.
Would we like to pass that around and take a few minutes each to view that, or do you want me to go ahead and have the clerk receive it? What do you think best, Ms. Wilkinson?
I would say that if the gentleman would like to leave a copy for it to be part of the minute records, that would be the most complete way, but that it's not an evidentiary proceeding, this commission meeting.
That's maybe my question.
Yeah, just leave a copy with me and I'll have the clerk place it in the record.
That's fine. Just briefly, I don't want to spend a ton of time on this, but the analysis of the Planning Commission was that, I'll just read it. The request is to rezone the parcel with an existing business from A1 to B3 with the intent for alcohol sales. The subject property is surrounded by single-family residential. The permitted uses in a B3 district will be obtrusive into the surrounding land use and zoning classifications. 2012, the Planning Commission recommended denial of a similar request for B3 zoning for this parcel. The County Commission subsequently denied the request. The surrounding land use in close proximity of homes has not changed since that request was denied. What I would point out to the Commission is that throughout Washington County, there are at least 3 or 4 parcels that are zoned B3, smack dab in the middle of A1 parcels. And so the Planning Commission's reasoning doesn't track with how zoning currently is in Washington County. There are one example is 369 Blackman Creek Road. It is a parcel zone B3 that is much like this parcel is, surrounded by A1 properties. The most sort of glaring disagreement I have with the Planning Commission reasoning is that a half a mile from this property is a Dollar General store. It's zoned B3. There's another parcel that is zoned B3. The Dollar General store is directly adjacent to an R1 zone, which is specifically for residential. It's a neighborhood that's got 2 cul-de-sacs with one house right smack dab up against the Dollar General parcel. And so what I would say is that, again, given the way that the county has zoned and allowed for B3 parcels to be in a similarly situated place as this parcel, it just seems like an arbitrary decision by the Planning Commission to deny this parcel, again, a half a mile away from Dollar General. It's a half mile away. There's maybe 4 or 5 parcels and residential homes in between these 2 parcels. It seems to be an arbitrary decision by the Planning Commission that we're obviously asking that this commission approve that rezoning request.
All right.
Best.
If you'll bring those up to me, I'll
let that. Just in case. I don't get tackled on YouTube.
We're
Thank you.
all right. Is there anyone else here to speak in favor of the request? Seeing none, is there anyone here to speak in opposition to? Ma'am, if you'll give your name and address to the clerk, please, when you get to the podium.
Everybody kind of just right here.
No, from the podium. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Scarlett Jordan, and I have lived at 44 Town Road for 37 years. When we moved out there, that's one of the reasons we moved out there. It's basically farmland. It's all residential. We've never had any kind of, other than the little country store across the street. This matter has come up probably 5 or 6 times since I've lived there. And the dollar store that they refer to does not sell alcohol. It is a half mile away. They do not sell alcohol. And Blackley Creek is probably 4 or 5 miles from there. So it's not really the surrounding area. But that's not why we moved there. And what bothers me is when you rezone, what comes with that? Not just a small store selling alcohol. And they reroute the traffic. When something happens on 81, they come down that road. There's a lot of traffic. Like I said, I've raised my family there. My granddaughter lives about half a mile from there. And that's not what that community is. It's not really a business community. But really the rezoning is what bothers me, is what's gonna come with it, because once it's rezoned, it's what you got.
All right. Thank you very much. Is there anyone else here to speak in opposition to the request?
My name is Barbara Roberts, and I live at 226 Town Road. I'm directly across from this store. For the past year, I have took care of their gas customers because they would not keep gas. They would come to my house all through the night wanting gas. People off the interstate. I don't want that beer in my front door. I kept their trash picked up for years. I'm 65, I'm retired, and I'm too old to get down in my ditch and pick up their beer bottles and beer cans. I know these people that live out in this county, and I know what's gonna be happening. There's gonna be more wrecks at that crossroads. There's already been 2 people killed at that crossroad. And there's gonna be more wrecks from these people taking these back roads to come to that store to get beer. I've raised my grandkids there, and all the grandkids in the neighborhood would come to my house to play. I'm looking to raise my great-grandkids there. And I just don't want it. I just don't want it. And like I said before, if they want to make everybody happy, put in dip ice cream. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak in opposition to the request?
Hi, my name is Denise Pierce, and I'm the previous owner of this establishment. I owned it for 12 years. I'm the last person to try to rezone it in 2012 when it was shot down. I tried twice. These are the same neighbors that came up when I wanted to rezone. Okay. I since moved out there 7 years ago. I lived in Johnson City. Since I've lived out there, we have, where they're talking about the crossroads, that's State Highway 81, where the Dollar General is. It's not on a farmer. Okay. That's a big difference. There's hay. People haul hay. The farmers come on tractors on this road to get their fuel. And it's a restaurant and an establishment, or it's a convenience store. It does not need beer. That store's been there for 40 years. It's never had a beer license, never been rezoned because these people don't want it. And now that I live out there, I've become part of the community, and I don't. These are farmers that come in that store to eat, to get their fuel, get their drinks, not to get beer. And that's all I got to say.
Thank you very much, Denise. Anyone else that'd like to speak? We're just gonna take a couple more and then we're gonna move right along to the next one. Seeing no one else, we'll move on to the next rezoning, Randy and Lydia Norwood. It's in the 5th Civil District, R1 low density residential to A1 general agricultural. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of this request? If you'd come up, sir, to the podium and give your name and address to the clerk.
My name is Randy Norwood. I live at 139 Clyde Drive. We bought 13 and a half acres originally. We didn't realize it was R1. And later, a year later, we bought 9.5 across the creek in its agriculture. Originally, when we filed this, we thought we had to file it to get the green belt. Later told, don't. And after we got to thinking and grandchildren, we don't want it turned into a subdivision. That was our main goal, was to try to get it all agriculture. Other than that, it'd be nice.
Thank you, Mr. Norwood. Is there anyone else here that would like to speak in favor of the request? Seeing none, is there anyone here that would like to speak in opposition to? Seeing none, we'll move on to the third rezoning. That's Summit Leadership Foundation. The 12th Civil District, R1 Low Density Residential District to the A1 General Agricultural District. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of this request? Sir, if you'll give your name and address to the podium, please, for the clerk.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Matt Overby. I live at 2977 Knob Creek Road, and I'm here to ask for your blessing on rezoning this property back to A1 from R1. There's discrepancy when you look at the state's website versus the county's website. The state has it listed as A1, but it is not. It is R1. We are seeking to develop the property. We're a nonprofit organization, and it's Trinity Grace Farm. It's going to exist to serve organizations that work with kids and families with special needs. And so we're putting in a pavilion, a fishing pond, trails. It will be consistent with the other A1 properties that are all around us. It was zoned R1 2 owners ago as they look to turn it into a subdivision. That's not our design. We're going to keep it together. It's 30 acres and congruent with the other land surrounding us already.
All right, we appreciate you very much coming out. Anyone else here to speak in favor of the request? Seeing none, is there anyone here to speak in opposition to the request? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and go back into general session. Ms. Charles, if you'll come forward, give us our planning commission's recommendations.
For the first rezoning that you have this evening, that is the request from A1 to B3. The planning commission did recommend denial of this request. The recommended for denial was based on the fact that the request would be out of character with the surrounding area and incompatible with the zoning classification of the area. The other 2 rezonings that you have before you tonight are both rezoned from R1 to A1. Planning Commission did recommend approval of both of those because they are in keeping with their surrounding areas and uses. Staff did receive correspondence from 5 individuals in opposition of the first rezoning on your agenda tonight to the B3 district. And the other 2 rezonings, we have not received any opposition on those. I can answer them.
All right. Any questions for Ms. Charles?
The first request presented to the commission.
For sure, it was presented and denied in 2012.
I have been told that there was another time prior to that, but I did not find that documentation in our office.
Any other questions?
Just what's currently there?
Currently there is a little convenience center, gas station.
At A1,
Yes,
grandfather?
yes, no, that's allowed in A1.
So the B would allow, so
Yes, yes, the
they
commercial
cannot
districts.
store. Just for clarification for me, if you go to the business, then they still have to get your license. It doesn't automatically come with, you can sell beer, right?
That is correct.
But the way it's known now, you can still run a convenience store there. It just does not allow you to apply for alcohol.
Yes, sir.
Okay. My education, thank you.
Any further questions for Ms. Charles? Thank you, Ms. Charles. We appreciate all your hard work. I know you've helped me considerably today on this issue. All right, we'll open the floor and entertain a motion to approve resolution 230801. This is a resolution rezoning in the 13th Civil District presently owned by Munchies Incorporated. It's on page 13. Commissioner Tucker?
The 230801, that is in my district, and I have had several calls and emails that was against this. Me as one, I'm against it, but I don't think we need another beer store in the county. A lot of my people in my district, they've got a petition. I think they said they had over 1,000 signatures on it that was against the beer license. So I'd like to make a motion that we deny this motion.
All right, so we have a motion to deny. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Huffine.
Resolution says that's not.
Call for question.
Question's been called. Madam Clerk, if you just can switch us to the voting screen, please.
Mr. Chairman,
Hold on a minute.
Yes, it does.
so we don't have too many double negatives.
I just want to clarify your motion while we're voting here. Your motion was to do not
Do not change the,
change the rezoning.
leave the zone the way it is.
Yes. So does everybody feel comfortable on how they voted?
No.
So do we want to go back and revote?
Yes.
Okay.
And I want clarification. Yes, because the motion was to deny. So yes would be to deny. Am I thinking correctly?
Yes would be to remain the zoning the same. Is that not correct, Ms. Wilkins?
And just more specifically, your resolution states does or does not. And so if Commissioner Tucker would make his motion in the form that it's the resolution does not promote, and therefore you're denying the rezoning, I think that's, rather than having yes meaning no or something like that on your record, just if he'd be clear whether it does or does not promote the health, safety, morals, convenience, order, prosperity, et cetera, which is in paragraph 4. So therefore, it'll be the rezoning in section 1 will be denied if that's what you're seeking, for it to stay the same zone.
Yes, now we can yes.
If that's correct. Just so long everybody understands that, what's denying being yes.
Just wanted to make that clear, as we were moving along there. Thank you, Mayor. I think the mayor's been caught up in some of those votes before. So,
Are we gonna vote or?
well, we are. Now we are, because it should be on your screen now.
We can clarify this.
No. I'm good. All right, Madam Clerk, you'll announce the vote. 14 yes and 1 absent. And the request is denied. To change the vote. All right, our second one is Randy and Lydia Norwood, in the 5th Civil District, R1 Low Density Residential, A1, and that is resolution 230802. We have a motion? Motion by Commissioner Fitzgerald.
Call for the question.
Second by Commissioner Wexler. And he also called the question. All right.
See, Lewis, I'm in the speaker zone now.
Now, Lewis is fast. I mean,
Lots of money, I can say.
you're in the speaker zone, Commissioner. All right, we're ready to vote. Question's been called. Are we denying or approving?
Now, it's yes really means yes, right?
Yes, yes, it really be yes.
Yes doesn't mean no, right? Clear.
Yes, should be yes. We have 14 yes and 1 absent. That resolution passes. Our third resolution on rezoning is 230803. It is a resolution rezoning the tax map in the 12th Civil District, presently owned by Summit Leadership Foundation. Motion made by Commissioner Tobin, seconded by Commissioner Jones to approve the resolution.
No question.
Question's been called. Madam Clerk, if you'll switch us to the voting screen, go ahead and cast your vote and lock it in.
Yes is yes.
Madam Clerk, if you'll announce the vote, 14 yes, 1 absent, the resolution passes. That'll conclude all of our resolutions for rezoning this evening. So that'll put us on the road to special recognition and proclamation. Mayor Grandy, remember we switched that up, A and B, so you got that? It's like yes and no. Mayor.
No means.
A means B and B means A.
Yes means no. No means.
First, we have a proclamation tonight for the Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. Important issue. It's hard to believe that with just less than 1 month of school, in the books, that there have already been 4 school suicides in the state of Tennessee, 2 in Northeast Tennessee. It's just a big deal. Whereas suicide is one of the most disruptive and tragic events a family and a community can experience. With more than 1,100 lives lost in Tennessee each year, an estimated 25 attempted suicides reach suicide death. And whereas suicide is the 11th leading cause of death in Tennessee, the 3rd leading cause of death among youth and young adults ages 10 to 24, as well as the 2nd leading cause of death of adults ages 35 to 44, and the 6th leading cause of death for adults ages 45 to 54. Left out the old people, thankfully. And whereas more than 3 lives a day are lost to suicide in Tennessee, which means that we lose 27 Tennesseans each week and 97 per month. And whereas Tennessee veterans, active duty military, and National Guardsmen face a disproportionate risk as compared to the general population, with with more dying from suicide than in combat. And whereas public awareness of this tragic problem is the key to preventing further suffering and loss of life, and the risk for human self-destruction can be reduced with awareness, education, and treatment, as the highest risk of suicide is among the survivors of those who have died by suicide or those who have attempted suicide. And whereas suicide prevention has been declared a state priority by the governor, and the Tennessee legislature has declared teen suicide prevention as a state priority in partnership with the Tennessee Suicide Prevention Network to implement the Tennessee Strategy for Suicide Prevention. And whereas Tennessee is a national leader in the effort to prevent suicide, being one of the first states to develop a suicide prevention and evaluation plan covering the lifespan. And whereas 988 Suicide and the Crisis Lifeline provide 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress, prevention and crisis resources for you or your loved ones, and the best practices for professionals in the United States. And whereas the governor of Tennessee has appointed a Suicide Prevention Network Advisory Council to coordinate the implementation of the Tennessee Strategy for Suicide Prevention, and whereas the Tennessee Suicide Prevention Network is a grassroots collaboration of Tennesseans and organizations working to eliminate the stigma of suicide, educate the community about the warning signs of suicide, and ultimately reduce the rate of suicide in our state. And whereas every member of our community should understand that throughout life's struggles, we all need occasional reminder that we are all silently fighting our own battle. And whereas we encourage all Tennesseans to take the time to inquire as to the well-being of their family, friends, and to genuinely convey their appreciation for their existence by any gesture they deem appropriate. A simple phone call, message, handshake, or hug can go a long way towards helping someone realize that suicide is not the answer. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners, Washington County, Tennessee, that we do hereby recognize September 2023 as Suicide Prevention Awareness Month in Washington County, and do urge all citizens to work to prevent and to raise awareness and tolerance around all people affected by this tragedy. Thank you very much. Thank you for your work. Thank you for all that you do. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you all so much for many years now. I've had the good honor and blessing to be able to come here to this commission with the mayor and all of you all to be able to accept this proclamation, and it really means a lot. So TSPN and on behalf of our organization, we really thank you from the bottom of our heart for doing this for us. We have a big statewide event at the end of September. And so this proclamation will go to that event along with all the other counties in Tennessee. So thank you for doing this tonight for us. We appreciate it. Thank you, Mayor.
Let's go ahead and get this proclamation approved, though, before we let you step away this evening. Do we have a motion to approve the proclamation? Motion by Commissioner Huffine, second by Commissioner Jones to approve the proclamation. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. And the motion passes and the proclamation is approved. We appreciate all that you do. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Mayor, we have another special guest of folks here with us this evening. Many guests. So as you know, those who all deem this to be a very important thing, the first County 101 class was held during the month of July. And so tonight we'll be able to honor the folks that attended, had the opportunity to attend the first two. And what was particularly unique about this group, there were 20 participants in this class. There was a participant from just about every district in the county of Tennessee, Washington County, district and county of Washington County. And for each of 4 consecutive Tuesday nights, the entire group showed up. I don't know where you get
20 folks that'll always show up week after week, but we found them and they were really a very interesting group. Interestingly enough, 14 of the 20 had lived in Washington County for 5 years or less. So we got to talk a little bit about Washington County government, Washington County, show off some things. The first night was introduction to Washington County government, where a number of the elected officials showed up and presented a little bit about what they did. Tour of Jonesboro on a beautiful July evening, and that was, I think, a good way to start. Next, we came over to this very building and had one of our Sessions Court judges present, our Chancellor Rambo presented, and a circuit court judge presented, talk about the court system, what all goes on here. As you know, this is a very important part of Washington County government. It's very expensive, and there's a lot of activity that takes place here every single day, and they did a great job sharing what the court system does and that the county is the hub for that activity. Next, they moved to the newly renovated, formerly known as Princeton Arts Center, to meet the Election Commission and have the Election Commission talk about the hard work and good work they do. And in fact, Tennessee is the #1 election integrity state in the United States, as well as get some information on our public health department. And finally, they wrapped up with a grand finale over at the Sheriff's Department, where they were greeted by detention center folks, Sheriff's Department folks, and a number of four-legged fuzzy friends. And I think that was a good way to wrap up. They did a great job at the jailhouse cookies and other great product from the Sheriff's Department. Thank you for all the hard work that went into that, to all the participants. So tonight is graduation night for those 20 participants. 16 of them are here tonight. We're going to just bring them on up. Without further ado, the group is Randy Diff. Just step on up here. Get up here. Nicole Chapin. Mike Elder. Mitzi Cooper. Jennifer Richmond. Martha Davenport. Martha is our only known native. Danielle Goodrich. Elizabeth Wilczak. Tiffany Larson. Joy Fulkerson. Don Hemby. Constance Wise. Ted Gardner. Mitzi Preacher. Laura Wheeler. Thank you, Laura Wheeler. And Frank Hahn. So this I present to you tonight is our 2023 County Government 101 class of participants. Give them a warm.
So can we make the county better by letting them sit here?
Some people. Commissioner's birthday. Sounds like a great activity.
I think so.
It's
Is that for sure?
Facebook champion. Tiffany. Boy.
You can come on up here if you want to.
Yeah.
Brenda.
I'm trying to get me to get in.
All right, we're gonna take about a 10-minute recess so we can meet our constituents here that have attended the class. So we're gonna stand in recess a minute and, have just a few minutes to visit with me. We appreciate you being here this evening.
I don't know, but I think it was on me. Microphone. I'm going with the green light.
Walk over. See if I can trace him down.
There's a lot of pressure. It's a big audience. Be there. No, like this. So.
Just go back to the base. Yeah. And then you tell it to me. Sherry, Sherry. I'm not seeing it, those chairs. Hey, talking about
That was a good picture of her. I know it's
Art on Steve's knees.
I'm not.
Oh, yeah. In class. I don't know. Just this. You just this far. $15 Oh, what?
First day, set up the cross. All right, that's all.
Get back.
Yeah. Little.
Very much. And I do hope to do a 102 or 110. EMS, dispatch, education.
Yes.
Daughter lives in. We can't play. Everybody keeps asking me.
Well,
I'm gonna go down and do a game with her and my son is coming up. He lives. My son lives.
Resolution. You're recording if there was a vote on that resolution, so.
Yes.
But I'll do that if you tell me that.
well, I mean, I think it's.
Hope so.
Worst comes to worst. That's why they.
Whether we do it, all right, let's just do that. I'm a little.
I asked him what his plans were.
Well,
Have
and
an ordinance making.
on the, when budget.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna do.
And I'm like, that's after all things.
That was a wee bit uncomfortable. I'm not gonna ask that.
Go.
Already.
Correct. Says, you don't panic until I tell you to panic. Tell them what's finished. Okay.
All right.
Where'd everybody go?
Mayor.
You had a few remarks before we.
Well, I assume about County Government 101 is county commission's idea, great idea. People enjoyed it, lots of stuff, but your communication director was the one who orchestrated, put it together, Mary Ellen, and she really deserves the credit for putting meetings together, organizing the group, providing food each evening for that, and just generally orchestrate the entire deal, and pretty much went off without a hitch. So
He deserves a big congratulations for making this thing successful.
Right on cue.
How was that, Mary Ellen? Did you get all that?
You can hear what all the good stuff was said about you.
Well, Blake, I hope you can get my microphone back in order because it is stopped.
That's why I got mine on my shoulder. Like it's so nice.
Yeah.
Good job.
The bed sheet.
One time was correct.
Hello.
All right. I think I'm back. Mary Ellen, what the mayor was saying is what an exceptional job you did with County 101. We're also appreciative of everything that you did, all the organization that you put into that. I know of all the behind the scenes that you did up to purchase orders and everything coming back to me. I thank you for all that you did. This commission thanks you. And I know the mayor. We just want to make sure that you're aware of. We appreciate all your hard work. And I know the ladies and gentlemen that were here tonight, they sure do too. And so thank you again. And we're going to give you another round of applause. All right, we'll find out where we are on the agenda. What we at the budget committee report, Commissioner Wheeler? And I don't think we were that far along.
Item 10.
Yes. Oh, yes, yeah, notaries, yes. All right, we were at the county commissioners' approval of the minutes. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes? Motion made by Commissioner Fitzgerald, seconded by Commissioner Edens to approve the minutes. Questions or? Questions been called? All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. The minutes are accepted. The next item is Resolution 230804 under elections, appointments, and confirmations. This is a resolution confirming the county mayor's appointment to the Washington County Regional Planning Commission. Do I have a motion? Move for approval by Commissioner Huffine, second by Commissioner Wexler.
Call for the question.
Question's been called. Madam Clerk, if you'll take us to the voting screen, please. Go ahead and cast your vote and lock it in. Madam Clerk, if you'll announce the vote, 14 yes, 1 absent, the resolution passes. Move on to the Committee on Committee report. Commissioner Carter.
Thank you. There was one date change on the agenda. I just now see that it says the minutes and attachments of the August 3rd meeting. That actually was August 7th, I think, which the minutes reflect that. You'll find our minutes on page 34. The commissioners in attendance recommended that consideration be given to leadership roles in the committees when they convene in September. And that was twofold. The first was to spread the workload around. I know that for those that had the secretary position, it was really hard to be fully involved with the meeting. So if we could change that a little bit. And the other idea behind that was just to provide the opportunity if some other commissioners wanted to step up into a leadership role, that would be available to them. It's a recommendation of the committee. Our resolution is on page 35, and it's resolution number 23-08-05. The resolution appointing members to the standing committees of Washington County Board of County Commissioners for the fiscal year 2023-2024 comes to you as a recommendation from the committee, and I move for its approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Carter to approve the resolution, seconded by Commissioner Davenport. Question or discussion?
Call the question.
Question's been called. Madam Clerk, if you'll switch us to the voting screen, please. Go ahead and cast your vote and lock it in. Madam Clerk, if you'll announce the vote. 14 yes, 1 absent, and the resolution passes. Thank you, Commissioner Carter. The next item is Resolution 230830, is a resolution appointing members to the Washington County Industrial Development Board. We have a motion. Motion by Commissioner Fitzgerald.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Jones to approve the resolution. Question or discussion? Commissioner Malone?
When I was reviewing the packet and saw this one, I just wondered, is there a Washington County commissioner on the Industrial Development Board? I don't know. I assume these are our only appointees. Part of me just wondered if we want or should have an actual Washington County commissioner as one of these. And I'm not seeking the appointment, don't misunderstand, but I was just curious about that question.
I don't know that we have a commissioner on the Industrial Development Board. I don't know that we can have. That's a great question for Ms. Wilkinson. Ms. Wilkinson?
I'm happy to confirm my recollection. I know that there's authority that states that the county mayor, for example, would not be eligible to serve on a county industrial development board. I don't recall anything about commissioners, although there is a general prohibition against appointing members of the commission to boards where the appointment sits with the legislative body. So I think we'd want to look at that particularly, and I'm happy to do that for you. It's currently an 8-member board, and there's not a commissioner serving on that board. And they have asked to create a 9th position, which will be posted on the website with a description of what the board members do, so that will go back through the committee process.
And there may be some other openings. We have had some members that may be wanting to come off soon. So there may be a little bit of turnover on that board anyway.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, a 6-year term, that's a long term, but it sounds like there may be an added member in other opportunities, but so I'm good. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions or discussion?
Call the question.
Question's been called. Madam Clerk, if you'll switch us to the voting screen. Go ahead and cast your vote and lock it in. Madam Clerk, if you'll announce the vote. 14 yes, 1 absent, and the resolution passes. We'll go ahead and move right on to the county mayor's report. Mayor Grandy? The mayor has no report this evening. Is there any questions for the mayor? Seeing none, we'll move on to the county attorney's report. Ms. Wilkinson?
Thank you. I don't have a report for you. I'll just thank you for attending executive session, which is an exception to the open meetings to discuss pending or existing litigation. And as you know, there's no action to be taken out of that executive session. So thank you for your time.
Right, we appreciate the executive session and update, and for legal matters, and, thank you very much for providing that for us this evening. The Director of the Health Department, Ms. Butterfield, is away on training. She's been selected to, do some, training with the governor's office. Is that correct, Mayor? Ms. Butterfield? Yes. So she is away at some training there. The Director of Schools report is in your packet, page 39. Director Boyd has placed that in the packet for your review. Our election administrator is here with us tonight. Director Jones, do you have any comments you'd like to make?
Just if you have any questions
All right. And you'll find her report in the packet on page 43. County Trustee Rick Story is here with us this evening. Rick, if you want to come up and speak about this resolution just a minute, it's very interesting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The resolution that you have before you this evening is one that a statute that allows the trustee the approval of the commission to accept the taxes before the first Monday in October, but they cannot exceed the July 10th. So it has, the authorization is for that resolution to let us collect in time. This year, we're falling in that category because all the jurisdictions within the county had their tax rate set, had their delinquent files set in, and they've returned their tax roll back to the state, and they're now coming back to our software and going to our printer. So we hope to get taxes out September. It depends on where we file allowance to printer, but that's a lot earlier than the end of November last year. So the resolution, it's a legal resolution, it's a statute that allows us to say that set taxes prior to the first Monday in October, but not before July the 10th. This is all predicated that you have your tax roll in the state and everything. Any questions?
So this would give people an opportunity to pay a little bit earlier if they wanted to.
It does. I mean, it takes nothing away from the taxpayer. It just extends the time. So if we get taxes out, say, the middle of September, they still have to February 28th, November. Well, last year, it was last week in November getting taxes out because we were number 35 at the time everybody got the tax roll and everything. So they narrowed the time this time.
Yeah.
Gives them more time. It's nothing against the taxpayer.
No, yeah. Give it more time, more notice. I think it's good anytime we can do that. We appreciate you bringing this resolution to us, Mr. Story. Move for approval of the resolution 230806 by Commissioner Malone. Second by Commissioner Wexler. Any questions or discussion?
Call for the question.
Question's been called. Madam Clerk, if you'll switch us to the voting screen, please. Go ahead and cast your vote and lock it in. Madam Clerk, if you'll announce the vote, 14 yes, 1 absent, and the resolution passes. Our beer board had a meeting. Commissioner Malone?
We did indeed have a meeting. Thanks, board, for being there. Our minutes are on page 48. We'd like to answer any questions.
Any questions for Commissioner Malone? Seeing no questions, we will move right into the county archives report. That'll be on page 50. I don't think Ned is here this evening. It's a very interesting report. It's very informative.
It's very good.
Yeah.
I would encourage everybody to read it.
So
It was a good.
it was. I shared that report with several people. It's very good. County on property report, Commissioner Jones.
You can see our minutes from the August 3rd meeting on page 72, and I'll answer any questions that you might have.
All right. Any questions for Commissioner Jones? Seeing that, I'll move into the Employee Compensation and Benefits Committee. So you'll see our minutes on page 88. Is there any questions or discussion? Seeing none, we'll move right forward to the Health, Education, and Welfare Committee. Commissioner Jones?
Thank you, Chairman. You can see our minutes from the August 3rd meeting on page 90. I have 3 resolutions for you today, all of them relate to grant funding received by the library. So first, consider resolution number 230807, resolution amending fiscal year budget 2023-24 regarding the library senior trust digital grant. That's found on page 94, and it comes with approval from the Q committee. I bring it to you in form of a motion.
Motion made to approve the resolution by Commissioner Jones. Do you have a second? Second by Commissioner Malone. Question or discussion?
Call for question.
Question's been called. Madam Clerk, if you'll switch us to the voting screen. Go ahead and cast your vote and lock it in. Madam Clerk, if you'll announce the vote, 14 yes, 1 absent, and the resolution passes. Commissioner Jones?
Next, consider resolution number 230808, resolution authorizing Washington County, Tennessee's acceptance and execution of training opportunities to the public grant top. That's on page 96. Comes with a recommendation from Q, and I bring it to you in the form of a motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Wheeler to approve the resolution. Question or discussion?
Call the question.
Question's been called. Madam Clerk, if you'll switch us to the voting screen. Go ahead and cast your vote and lock it in. Madam Clerk, if you'll announce the vote, 14 yes, 1 absent, the resolution passes. Commissioner Jones?
Last resolution is number 230809, resolution authorizing Washington County, Tennessee's acceptance and execution of the E-rate grant. On page 100, comes with a recommendation from Q, and I bring it in form of a motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Jones to approve the resolution. Second by Commissioner Huffine. Question or discussion?
Call the question.
Question's been called. Madam Clerk, if you'll switch us to the voting screen. Go ahead and cast your vote and lock it in. Madam Clerk, if you'll announce the vote, 14 yes, 1 absent, the resolution passes. Anything else, Commissioner Jones?
If there are any questions, I'll take them.
Seeing no questions, we'll move on to the Public Records Commission. Commissioner Wexler?
Yes, we had a meeting, on Tuesday, August 15th at 3 p.m. And we went over the fine report that we referenced earlier. Do anybody have any questions? Glad to answer.
Thank you, Commissioner. Seeing no questions, we'll move on to the Public Safety Committee report. Commissioner Wheeler?
Our minutes on page 108 of your packet, we have 13 resolutions evidencing how much harder we work than we did at this point.
Oh, that was bad.
In the interest of getting these through fairly quickly tonight, I would ask Mr. Carter to consider seconding each one. Mr. Huffine to call the question. I'll find out to you. So, hey, we're transparent. D through L are all no new money. They were capital projects that were in the capital projects plan that we approved as part of the budget. They're simply coming in to approve the spending. That's the reason we sort of do it. So, because they are resolutions, we'll go through each one. First one, for your consideration this evening is resolution number 2308-10, resolution approving and authorizing agreement between Washington County and Data Driven LLC. This comes as a recommendation from the committee, and I move for its approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Wheeler, second by Commissioner Carter. Question? Question's been called by Commissioner Huffine.
You're out of order.
Madam Clerk, if you'll move us to the voting screen. Go ahead and cast your vote and lock it in. Madam Clerk, if you'll announce the vote. 14 yes, 1 absent, the resolution passes. Commissioner Wheeler?
Our next resolution is resolution 23-08-11, resolution ratifying the acceptance to school resource officer grant program between the state of Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security and Washington County Sheriff's Office. This comes as a recommendation from the committee and a move for its approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Wheeler, seconded by Commissioner Carter to approve the resolution. Question or discussion?
Call for the question.
Question's been called. Madam Clerk, if you'll switch us to the voting screen, go ahead and cast your vote and lock it in.
You gotta be quick on the draw.
Madam Clerk, if you'll announce the vote, 14 yes, 1 absent, the resolution passes. Commissioner Wheeler?
Next resolution, resolution number 23-0-12, resolution authorizing the disposition of Washington County Sheriff's Office surplus property on GovDeals.com. This comes as a recommendation from the committee and I move for its approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Wheeler, seconded by Commissioner Carter to approve the resolution. Discussion, question?
Call question.
Question's been called. Madam Clerk, if you'll switch us to the voting screen, go ahead and cast your vote and lock it in. Madam Clerk, if you'll announce the vote, 14 yes, 1 absent, the resolution passes. Commissioner Wheeler?
Next, resolution number 23-0-13, resolution approving and authorizing certain capital projects fund spending up to $100,000 for fiscal year 23-24 for the Washington County Sheriff's Office for body and car camera upgrade. This comes as a recommendation from the committee and I move for its approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Wheeler, seconded by Commissioner Carter to approve the resolution. Question or discussion?
Call for the question.
Question's been called. Madam Clerk, if you'll switch us to the voting screen, go ahead and cast your vote and lock it in. Madam Clerk, if you'll announce the vote, 14 yes, 1 absent, the resolution passes. Commissioner Wheeler?
Next, to consideration of resolution number 23-08-14, a resolution approving and authorizing certain capital projects fund spending up to $20,000 fiscal year 23-24 for the Washington County Sheriff's Office for upgrade and replacement of jail security cameras. This comes as a recommendation from the committee and move for its approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Carter, seconded by Commissioner. Motion made by Commissioner Wheeler, seconded by Commissioner Carter. Question or discussion?
Call for the question.
Question's been called. Madam Clerk, you'll switch us to the voting screen. Go ahead and cast your vote and lock it in.
Yeah, it is.
Madam Clerk, if you'll announce the vote, 14 yes, 1 absent, the resolution passes. Commissioner Wheeler?
Next is resolution 23-08-15, resolution approving and authorizing certain capital projects fund spending up to $15,000 for fiscal year 23-24 for the Washington County Sheriff's Office for shower renovations and water line upgrades. This is a recommendation from the committee and move for its approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Wheeler, seconded by Commissioner Carter to approve the resolution. Question's been called. Madam Clerk, if you'll switch us to the voting screen, please. Go ahead and cast your vote and lock it in. Madam Clerk, if you'll announce the vote, 14 yes, 1 absent, the resolution passes. Commissioner Wheeler?
Next, resolution 23-08-16, resolution approving and authorizing certain capital projects fund spending up to $22,000 fiscal year 23-24 for the Washington County Sheriff's Office for freezer repairs. This comes as a recommendation from the committee and I move for its approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Wheeler, seconded by Commissioner Carter. Question's been called. Madam Clerk, if you'll switch us to the voting screen, please. Go ahead and cast your vote and lock it in. Madam Clerk, if you'll announce the vote, 14 yes, 1 absent, the resolution passes. Commissioner Wheeler?
Next, resolution 23-08-17, a resolution approving and authorizing certain capital projects fund spending up to $3,000 fiscal year 23-24 for the Washington County Sheriff's Office for workhouse fencing. This comes as a recommendation from the committee and move for approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Wheeler, seconded by Commissioner Carter to approve the resolution.
Call for the question.
Question's been called. Madam Clerk, if you'll switch us to the voting screen, please. Go ahead and cast your vote and lock it in. Madam Clerk, if you'll announce the vote, 14 yes, 1 absent, the resolution passes. Commissioner Wheeler?
Next, resolution 23-08-18, a resolution approving and authorizing certain capital projects fund spending up to $15,000 fiscal year 23-24 for the Washington County Sheriff's Office for security locks. This comes as a recommendation from the committee, and I move for its approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Wheeler, seconded by Commissioner Carter to approve the resolution.
Call the question.
Question's been called. Madam Clerk, if you'll switch us to the voting screen, go ahead and cast your vote and lock it in. Madam Clerk, if you'll announce the vote, 14 yes, 1 absent, the resolution passes. Commissioner Wheeler?
Next is resolution number 23-08-19, resolution approving and authorizing certain capital projects from spending up to $8,000 for fiscal year 23-24 the Washington County Sheriff's Office for Officer Pod work areas. This comes as recommendation from the committee, and I move for its approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Wheeler, seconded by Commissioner Carter.
Call for the question.
Question's been called. Madam Clerk, if you'll switch us to the voting screen, go ahead and cast your vote and lock it in. Fourteen yes, 1 absent, the resolution passes. Commissioner Wheeler?
Next is resolution 23-08-20, a resolution approving and authorizing certain capital project fund spending up to $9,000 for fiscal year 23-24 for the Washington County Sheriff's Office for soundproofing and multipurpose room. This comes as a recommendation from the committee, and I move for its approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Wheeler, seconded by Commissioner Carter to approve the resolution. Question?
Call the question.
Question's been called. Madam Clerk, if you'll switch us to the voting screen, go ahead and cast your vote and lock it in. Madam Clerk, if you'll announce the vote, 14 yes, 1 absent, the resolution passes. Commissioner Wheeler?
Next is resolution 23-08-21, a resolution approving and authorizing certain capital projects for spending up to $986,000 in fiscal year 23-24 for the Washington County Sheriff's Office for radio upgrades. This comes in form of a recommendation from the committee, and I move for its approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Wheeler, seconded by Commissioner Carter to approve the resolution.
Call for the question.
Question's been called. Madam Clerk, if you can switch us to the voting screen, please. Go ahead and cast your vote and lock it in. Madam Clerk has announced the vote, 14 yes, 1 absent, and the resolution passes. Commissioner Wheeler?
Final resolution is resolution number 23-08-22, resolution approving and authorizing independent contractor agreement between Washington County, Tennessee and Kendrick Quill. This comes in the form of a motion or a recommendation from the committee, and I move for its approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Wheeler, seconded by Commissioner Carter to approve the resolution. Question or discussion?
Call for the question.
Question's been called. Madam Clerk, if you'll switch us to the voting screen, go ahead and cast your vote and lock it in. Madam Clerk's announced the vote, 14 yes, 1 absent, and the resolution passes. Commissioner Wheeler, anything else?
That concludes our report.
Thank you very much for your report. We're having a bit of difficulties, but I'm going to continue on here as if nothing is happening. Public Works Committee, Commissioner Davenport.
Yes, you'll find our minutes on our August 3rd meeting on page 219. We only have one resolution. We're hoping that someone will second it. I don't have.
Question's been called. Madam Clerk, if you'll switch to the voting screen, go ahead and cast your vote, lock it in. Madam Clerk, if you'll announce the vote, 14 yes, 1 absent, and the resolution passes. Anything else, Commissioner Davenport?
No, that's the one I have a question.
All right. Seeing no questions, we'll move right on to the safety meeting,
Sounds like
minutes.
Floyd album right there.
Yeah, it's pretty tough here right on me. 223. Yeah, we're good. That is included in your packet.
Yeah.
Our next item is the Budget Committee report. Commissioner England.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You'll find the minutes for our August 9th meeting on page 2.5 in your packet. We have 5 resolutions.
And
yeah.
You win the dog.
Good money. First resolution, resolution number 23-08-24, resolution approving and authorizing certain capital projects fund spending $2,300,000 for fiscal year 23-24 for the courthouse HVAC. This resolution comes as a recommendation from the Budget Committee, and I move for it.
motion by Commissioner England to approve the resolutions. Second by Commissioner Wheeler.
Call for the question.
All I can say is this has been a great project. I'm glad it's kicking off and rolling down the road. So we've been waiting to do this a long time. Madam Clerk, you've switched us to the voting screen, and that's where we need to be. Go ahead and cast your vote and lock it in. Madam Clerk, if you announce the vote, 14 yes and 1 absent. Commissioner England?
Our next resolution number 23-08-25. It's a resolution approving and authorizing certain capital projects fund spending up to $2,600 for fiscal year 23-24 for the Washington County Zoning Department laptops. This resolution comes to you in the form of a recommendation from the Budget Committee, and I move for its approval.
Motion by Commissioner England to approve the resolution. Second by Commissioner Tucker. Question?
Call for the question.
Question's been called. Madam Clerk, if you'll switch to the voting screen, go ahead and cast your vote and lock it in. Madam Clerk, if you'll announce the vote, 14 yes, 1 absent, and the resolution passes. Commissioner England?
Next resolution is resolution number 23-08-26. The resolution amending fiscal year budget 2023-2024 reference to UT Agriculture Extension Service, creating a new position. This resolution comes to you in the form of a recommendation from the Budget Committee, and I move for its approval.
Motion made by Commissioner England. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Carter. Questions?
Call the question.
Question's been called. Madam Clerk, if you'll switch us to the voting screen, go ahead and cast your vote. Go ahead and cast your vote and lock it in. I'm gonna have to have Commissioner Wheeler up here in a minute. We have 14 yes, 1 absent, and the resolution passes. Commissioner England?
The next resolution is resolution number 23-08-27. Resolution amending the asset accounting policy for Washington County, Tennessee. This resolution comes as a recommendation from the Budget Committee, and I move for its approval.
Motion by Commissioner England. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Fitzgerald to approve the resolution. Question? Discussion?
Call question.
Question's been called. Madam Clerk, if you'll switch us to the voting screen, go ahead and cast your vote and lock it in. Madam Clerk, if you'll announce the vote, 14 yes, 1 absent, and the resolution passes. Commissioner England?
All right, our final resolution is resolution number 23-08-28. Resolution authorizing the Tennessee Department of Transportation State Investment Access Program. This resolution comes as a recommendation from the Budget Committee, and I move for its approval.
Motion made by Commissioner England. We have a second by Commissioner Carter to approve the resolution. Question or discussion?
Call for the question.
Question's been called. Madam Clerk, if you'll switch us to the voting screen, go ahead and cast your vote, lock it in. Madam Clerk, if you'll announce the vote, 14 yes, 1 absent, and the resolution passes. Anything else, Commissioner England?
No, that's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
All right. All right. Have no old business to report. We do have resolution 2308-29 is a resolution approving the election of notaries public for appointment or reappointment for Washington County, Tennessee. We have a motion.
Right here.
Motion by Commissioner Wexler to approve the resolution. Have a second? Second by Commissioner Edens. Discussion.
Call for the question.
Question's been called. Madam Clerk, if you'll switch to the voting screen, go ahead and cast your vote and lock it in. Madam Clerk, if you'll, no. Madam Clerk, if you'll announce the vote, 14 yes, 1 absent, and the resolution passes. We do have a announcement. Cutoff date for the county commission agenda is September the 14th at 12 noon. That will be for next month. We have a motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn by Commissioner Carter, second by
An awful technique.
motion to adjourn by Commissioner Carter, seconded by Commissioner Huffine. All in favor of adjourning, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Well, we're adjourned.
Last the entire.